case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is a Gothic piece of literature. Works of Gothic literature came about in the Middle Ages, and their purpose was to instill fear and terror into its readers. They typically have similar themes that relate to evil and death. In the story of Jekyll and Hyde, the theme of good versus evil is especially prevalent, and it is in fact the central theme of the story. Jekyll and Hyde are an allegory of the good and evil that exists in all men. The story is about a once prosperous and charitable doctor named Henry Jekyll. He was a good man with a well-respected reputation. Due to his good reputation, he wanted to separate his dark side from his good side in order to allow himself to express his evil urges without having a guilty conscience. So therefore, he created a potion that allowed himself to transform into Edward Hyde. Edward Hyde was known to all as a repugnant man. At first, Henry Jekyll, without dishonoring his good name, was happy to be morally free to do whatever he wanted. Then, as the book progresses, so does the power and wickedness of Mr. Edward Hyde. Henry let his dark side run wild, and he had to pay the price of the consequences. In the end, Jekyll's ability to change into Hyde became uncontrollable. He decided to stop drinking the potions that allowed for him to transform into Hyde. Although, despite not drinking the potions, one day he changed into Hyde without attempting to do so. He knew he must put an end to the evilness that was Hyde, so in the end of the story, before Hyde could take over permanently, he was able to write a quick confession which disclosed the truth. Then he committed suicide to put an end to his atrocious alter ego. Throughout the entirety of the book, the good side of Jekyll has to battle with his evil side. At first, the story leads you to ponder if good can be separated from evil, or if the two are forever correlated. But in the end, it is clear that evil and good are typically intertwined. However, it depends on how much power you give to one or the other that will determine the outcome of which one is stronger. For instance, if one chooses evil, good will begin to diminish. The story makes the reader question what gives evil the power to prevail. Dr. Jekyll wanted to separate his good and evil. However, in doing so, he gave into the temptations of evil and allowed for it to overcome. When he tried to separate his good side from his darker impulses, he discovered a way to transform himself into a monster, which created his internal battle of good versus evil. Therefore, in order to not let evil win the battle, one must not be lured into its trap, and must also ensure that the good outweighs the wicked.